Today I'm going to demonstrate the 10 steps for the Job Readiness Hard Surface Maintenance Contest for Skills USA. The first thing that you want to do is have all your equipment ready. Today I'm going to be using a mop bucket, cleaning chemical with a measuring cup, a wet floor sign, a broom and a dustpan, and a dust mop. So these are the things that you'll have in place for the contest. The last thing that you're going to use is a putty knife. So looking at these steps, the first thing that asks us to do is sweep the floor, but before we do that, if there's any gum on the floor, we want to scrape that off. Now there's not any gum on this floor, but we can just pretend if there is gum on the floor, make sure you scrape that up before you start sweeping. Okay? When you begin sweeping, start in the corner of the room with your dust mop. And you're going to go back and forth until you complete the whole floor. You notice I'm keeping the dirt in front of me until I get to the end. I want to complete the whole floor. When I get to the end, I'm going to lightly tamp that to put all the dirt in front of me. I'm going to set the dust mop aside. And I'm going to clean this up with a broom and a dustpan. Make sure we've got all that dirt off the floor, okay? Now, before we begin, we want to make sure everyone is safe, so we put out a wet floor sign indicating that we don't want to step on this floor. This is important beyond this contest because if you're working at a place of business, you're going to have customers there and you want to make sure that they don't get hurt. So we're going to put this wet floor sign in our entryway. The next thing we're going to do is measure our chemicals. Today, I'm using a neutral floor chemical that is diluted. That means we have to add water to it. So today we're going to show you the 2-to-1 ratio. I've already filled up my mop bucket with 4 gallons of water. And I'm going to add 2 ounces of chemical, which I've gone ahead and marked on our cup here. And probably a good idea if you want to wear gloves while you're doing this. Measure that to make sure I've got the 2 ounces. Put that aside. And you'll notice that I'm putting the water, then the chemical. So I'm going to add the chemical first. If you add the chemical first and then the water, it gets too bubbly. It gets to where you can't use it. Now I want to use my mop to mix that in, mix the solution up real good. I'm going to wring the mop. The way that I do it, I twist that mop and go down, and I do it in both directions. I'll twist it and go down. Make sure you get that. Now, just like I tell my students, just like when you're doing a jigsaw puzzle, you do the outside edge, and that's what we're going to do first, is we're going to cut in. Now on this mop, it's got a heel, and that's right here, and you want to keep that heel of the mop on the floor at all times. So I'm going to start in one corner, and I'm going to cut in, also called outlining. Now you can use your foot to get the corners real good as well as your outlining. So I'm going to do the whole edge, okay? The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to go in a figure 8 pattern. Think of a figure 8 laying on its side, so you're going to go back and forth, and you notice that I'm not going any wider than my shoulders, so I'm going back and forth. You always move backwards because you don't want to step on a wet floor and leave footprints. To do the middle section, you flip it over, and work your way backwards. I'm overlapping where I did at the first, okay? Then I'm gonna flip it over again. I'm working my way backwards, okay? When you're finished, you wanna visually inspect. If I've missed any spots on the floor, I wanna be sure and get those because the key is to cover the whole floor. Looks like I've done everything on my floor. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to store the equipment. So you would want to take this mop bucket, rinse it out, rinse the head, dump your water and your chemical out, and rinse the bucket. That way you don't have any leftover soap or dirt in there. Then the last thing that you're going to do is you're going to signal the timekeeper that I'm finished. The last 3 steps are what a lot of people forget. Forgetting to tell the timekeeper you're finished, putting up your equipment, and visually inspecting. If you follow all these 10 steps, I ensure that you're going to be very successful at the Hard Surface Skills USA contest. Thank you.